And on this, the first snowfall of the year, I embark on the Galactic Odyssey with this 2-pack. It's the Paradon Medics, and they're going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, The Autobot Family, Transformers versus G.I. Joe versus DC Universe versus Marvel, and Autobot City Central, as well as all of my social media links. All of the links for all of that is in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube, baby. And I am excited. I don't usually kind of record stuff and share it on the weekend, but as of this recording, Saturday, November the 14th, I was very excited because my Prowl and Ironhide got delayed. My Coneheads got delayed. This was actually a 2-pack that I actually got with, of course, Ratchet and with Lifeline. Now, I have not yet had the luxury of looking at the Earthrise Arcee, so I'm going to kind of compare the Paradon Medic to the original Generations Arcee herein. And the Ratchet, this is my chance to compare it to the Siege Ratchet, but I'm also going to touch on a QC issue that I heard about with the Ironhide. Let's hope my Ratchet does not have it. Without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at these two? And so I know that this is a little outside the norm of when we usually do these things. And a lot of the times when I get something new, of course, I wait and I show you guys on the Thursday night show. But I was really excited because my Coneheads have gotten delayed, my Prowl and Ironhide have gotten delayed, which means the first of my Galactic Odyssey sets to arrive is actually the Paradon Medics, with of course the Paradon Medic and the Earth Mode Ratchet, both of which I'm absolutely excited to take a look at. But before we get to them, you know where we're going to go first. That's right, we begin with the packaging first. This is a bit different than the Selects packaging. Yes, it's still kind of a boring brown box, but we have this, I don't know, detail over here. We have War for Cybertron, something in Cybertronian written up there, probably the name of the set. Maybe it says Galactic Odyssey, I don't know, I didn't do the translation on it, man. Then we have the same on the top, and down here just says Paradon Medics, much like a Selects packaging would. But when we open it up, we actually have something inside. And again, I want to reposition this a bit because the inside is actually kind of interesting to look at. I just want to note that this is the bottom of the box. Again, it looks cool, but the thing that's more interesting is the beautiful top of the box. I mean, we have a lot here that's very interesting. Besides for planets and whatnot that aren't kind of readily identified, though I think a lot of them we can kind of figure out what they are, especially Unicron over there. But we have the other planets. Paradon is there, Biosphera, Batropolis, Dominus, and of course Micron over here. We know that there's a set for each of these. The very first one is Paradon, and speaking of Paradon, it seems like the Galactic Odyssey collection is going to come with these cards that are identifiers for the planets. This one, of course, is Paradon, and on the back in 4 different languages, it basically explains that it's a pacifist planet, rich in energon, inhabited mostly by Paradon Medics, and basically that they are refugees from Cybertron. They will not engage in combat, which is pretty bad considering in that image we saw Unicron is pretty close to him, so things are probably gonna go poorly. It'll be really interesting to see how this, if this, kind of plays out within the Netflix series, the Earthrise portion or the Kingdom portion. But there you go. I kind of dig this info card. I sort of like it. I look forward to the others. We also have a beautiful, large set of instructions. I really like these. I wish instructions were always as big and beautiful as this. Plus, this little white blaster for Ratchet. It's somewhat hollow. It's simple. It's fine. It's not as dynamic as the accessories that came with the Siege Ratchet, but it's still alright. As well as this clear, I don't know, crystal, we'll call it, blaster that goes with the Paradon Medic, which is interesting since the Paradon Medics apparently are non-violent and will not engage in combat. I don't know why this is clear plastic, but it is, for whatever weird reason. It's beautifully molded. It's too bad that it's not beautifully painted. As with the Ironhide, Ratchet does have the, I'll call it the sled on his back, but we'll look at that when we look at Ratchet. But before Ratchet, I think we're going to start things off with the Paradon Medic first. Now, while I don't yet have the Arcee use of this mold, let's sort of deal with the elephant in the room right now. Why not? We have the original generation's Arcee, we have the newest mold, and it, like, both have their merits and their strengths, both have their weaknesses. It's so strange. The backpack on the original is significantly smaller, and I personally, I think, like the, I guess the molded in detail and whatnot, like the shape of the legs and whatnot on the original better. One of the scraplets agrees with me and kind of likes the original better. Starscream Wife likes the newer mold better, even despite the huge backpack. And I asked her what she thought of the huge heels, and she said I could look past that as well, because, like, I like the overall silhouette of the, you know, this new offering compared to the original. So I'm like, cool. I don't think there's a bad choice between the two. But taking Arcee out of it, let's get into grades for the Paradon Medic, who, by the way, holds her blaster just fine in her hand, no problem. The easiest way to start, of course, is with the paint applications, and you know what? I'm going to say it's a 10. We don't have a lot of reference. As a matter of fact, the only G1, now granted, like the Paradon Medics have been in the comics a few times, but the G1 kind of version of her that appeared in the cartoon was only in one episode, and that was Fight or Flee, when Scourge and Cyclonus were basically nursed back to health, and then they kind of like smashed the medics in the face and like gorged on a bunch of energon and was like, we feel better, let's go. And the medics just got up and walked away. Like, that's how pacifist they are. There was a reuse of the original Arcee mold that was part of, like, I think maybe a collector club exclusive, maybe, probably, that was recolored, and now we have this new one, and that's really, I think, the only two offerings that we've actually had of her, I believe, besides like some little statues and things of that nature. So 10, great start. In terms of her little blaster here, you can take it off, and apparently it can plug in back here somewhere. But, oh, okay, yeah, there's a little, it's kind of awkwardly placed, but I think it's supposed to be able to, it can plug in, I don't know how to say this delicately, it can plug in on her butt. It's not the most delicate of locations for her accessory storage. I think we'll just lay that thing aside for now. It's not the best design, not gonna lie. So a 10, man, wow. A 10 for the paint apps. Let's do the articulation. First, I'm surprised she could stand really well. That's an enormous, gigantic backpack, man. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I know you could take it off, we'll see that in a bit. The head, of course, it can go left and right. It doesn't really, my copy anyway, doesn't really seem to go up and down, like it wiggles up and down, but that's about it. The arms can go up, I guess they can, I guess the shoulders can go all around if you can get it past the backpack thing. Of course we have a super duper deep elbow, I love that. The wrist can go in and out. There's no actual wrist like swivel, but that's kind of cool. The biceps, they move. The arms feel really nice on her, like compared to the original Arcee. The waist, there's a waist swivel. That's a nice added feature that the original does not have. The legs can go forward, you know, that far, which is probably all you're going to need. Can go back that far before it hits the backpack. Probably a bit farther if you take part of the backpack off, but again, it's all you're really going to need. This is how far out to the side they go. The original Arcee can get a similar stance if you kind of angle the hips out a bit. It's a little more work on the original to get out this far, but you kind of can do it. The thigh most definitely swivels because it's actually part of transformation. I love the super deep knee. I think it's fantastic. And the feet can go, you know, angle forward and angle up. No ankle tilt on this mold though. Little disappointing since that's kind of become a thing as of late, but no ankle tilt here. I guess I understand it because she is so slight. The ability to stand up even with the backpack is very, very impressive to me. I'm going to say that the overall score for her articulation, ankle tilt would be nice, but that's about it. Maybe the head able to go up. Now, I'm going to say it's 8.5. It's pretty good. It's not the best of Siege Earthrise, but it's pretty good, especially considering this is a bit of a smaller mold, and Arcee has always been a little bit smaller. I often talk about the grams of plastic. Well, to my shock and amazement, they're the same. When I weigh both of them in grams, when I look at their mass, they're the same. Both of them are extremely small for deluxe. They're only 47. I don't think that Arcee should have been necessarily a deluxe price point. I don't think the Paradon Medics should be. But that being said, when we got Arcee, it was the first time we'd ever gotten her. She was long overdue for representation. I have always called her the first lady of Transformers, even though we did have Elita 1 in her group in that one episode. But I think for being popular, Arcee was the first one. And you can see here, I mean, the articulation is fairly comparable between the two. The waist is a nice added bonus, but the Generations Arcee's head can move up and down. So, I mean, you know, pick your poison. Neither is bad at all. By the way, I didn't mention it, but if you want her to glide, I guess, you could put her on her other piece of her backpack. It gives her a smaller backpack. I don't like this. I don't really see the point of it doing this, but, okay, I guess if you wanted to stand on half of her car mode, go for it. Okay, so with a 10 and an 8.5, we have an overall score so far of about a 9.25. The transformation's next. We begin by untabbing this, and it does tab in. There are two little rectangular tabs that tab in right there on the upper part of the car. I guess we can also turn this around for now if we want. Leave it. The thighs, they'll turn around because that's also a part of the transformation. And I guess if you want, you could stand her up backwards. It looks weird, no doubt. Now I do this to kind of prove a point, or point something out, I should say. When we bring the car down, her body is going to be sort of angled back a little bit. It's sort of weird. But it's not going to just be straight down, because otherwise her chest does not clear the tire. So we do have to angle it back a little bit. We, by rights, take the head and turn it around. Then, using the hinge on the back of her, we pick up this piece and bring out the front of the vehicle, and I guess getting her arms here out of the way, bring out this piece on the side and bring out this other front tire on the side. The tires are clear, which that's weird to me, but okay. And we bring that up. We come down on the back and we bring these tire pieces out. And we make sure that the back is sort of angled like this. It's weird. Now, there's a peg inside there. See if I can get her legs out of the way. There's a peg inside here that we have to kind of be able to pull out. Now, I find that the whole back section here does like to come off. And you're supposed to, like, it says angle it down at a 90-degree angle, but it's so weird to do. Like, it worked well then, but I can't guarantee that it's always going to work well, to be honest with you. It's not as elegant as I would like for it to be. We bring the legs up, we bring the arms just up on the side and just kind of tuck them in. You know, however, just squeeze the arms in there. Then we take the feet and we fold them up, and we're going to basically fold the leg up over and angle it out to the side, fold the leg up over, and angle it out to the side, and really make sure it's all tucked up. The back should look something kind of like this, but really in the end, boom, here we have the Paradon Medic in her vehicle mode. And here we have both of the vehicle modes. I think the Generations is a little more aerodynamic, but I think the new one, the Earthrise one, is a little more cohesive, so to speak. I do like, however, that there seems to be more integration of Arcee into the vehicle mode of the generations rather than just being kind of folded up underneath. You know, when you look under here, like there's arms and the legs are up, like it's all kind of inclusive. You look under here and you can see that there's obviously a robot with the legs folded up. By the way, that clear plastic blaster, though it fell out, it does peg in up right there. Not the most secure thing in the world, but it does do it. I'm going to say that the transformation overall is honestly, for me, a lot of people complain about the legs being fiddly. I think the legs are fine. I have no problem putting it up. It's very akin to like the, I guess, like MMC, Salvia Promenon, or their Elita 1, or even their Arcee, the way the legs fold up, so I'm sort of kind of already used to that. I don't find the legs bad. I find folding this back part of the vehicle down at the correct angle to be bad. I'm going to say that the transformation overall is about an 8. Paradon Medic, or I guess Arcee, generally is probably going to be somewhere around an 8.5, 8.75. It's fantastic. What about part 2 here, Ratchet? Quick little sidebar here. I've done all that. I've done the transformation. I talked about the score. Not that this changes anything, but I did forget to flip out these panels right here. There's one on the other side. They do flip out and tab in. Honestly, they're easy to forget, man. But they are there, and they do actually tab in nicely. The score still stands for the transformation as it was. And no, you're not seeing double. This is indeed the Siege Ratchet next to the Earthrise Ratchet. And neither one of these are bad. I'm going to tell you that right now, right off the mark. I like both. I like them for different reasons, however. To be fair, my Siege Ratchet has already been customized with red hands, with the little crosses on his shoulders, and with a red pelvis to match his animation model. He is about as perfect of a representation of Ratchet in robot mode as you could probably want. I even painted the red that was here white. Now, the Earthrise one, I am going to definitely paint the hands red. I am definitely going to paint the pelvis red, and I'm probably going to leave the red on his shoulders, but I'm going to add a cross. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to add an Autobot symbol or not, and he should have one where the Siege has one. So that should be there. I do like the wipers on him though. I might be able to find a very small Autobot symbol that might be able to fit on the hinge. I'm not sure. I'll have to see as I get going. But neither is bad. I would say that the Earthrise one, again, like you know, man, it's Ratchet. I am so glad that unlike the stock images, the thighs are not black. I was really concerned about that because I was like, that's just plain wrong. A couple of things I still need to do, but right now, for paint-wise, it's a solid 9. In terms of the articulation, well, first thing to note is that he does hold his blaster just fine, and if you don't want it in his hand, I mean, he has a peg here, or a peg hole here, and here, and here, and here on the center of his back, and here, so he's covered in those 5mm peg holes for, like, the weaponizer gimmick thing. You will notice that we have his sled thing on his back. Again, it's in a 5mm peg. It's fairly unobtrusive back there, more than I thought it was going to be. Like, it doesn't really hinder too much. I'm going to leave it there for the articulation, just so you can see how much it doesn't hinder things. So the head goes left, right, can sort of, it looks down, but it doesn't really look up very well. The arm can go all the way around, well out to the side. We have good 90 degrees at the elbow. We have a bicep swivel. We have a wrist rotation. We have a waist, not really too hindered by the like backpack sled thing. The legs can go all the way forward. With that in, of course, the legs are hindered from going back. With it out, they can go all the way back. And he can, of course, do the splits for a days if you are so inclined. We have a thigh swivel, which is nice. We have good 90 degrees at the knee. And we do have a super deep ankle tilt, just like we did with the Siege. Honestly, the articulation, I think, is fantastic. I'm just going to take this off. See, the leg can go back all the way fine. I'm going to say the articulation's a 10. I think it's fantastic. So we have a 9, we have a 10, 9.5. I would say that this is a very strong start. Let's just take a second and look at his sled piece first. So the sled piece is pretty nice for the most part. Painted nicely with the Autobot symbol and the light bar and whatnot. It's pretty hefty. There is a slider here. I think that's supposed to go down in, I want to say in robot mode, and it's supposed to go up in vehicle mode, but I tend to just leave it up all the time. It's like 4 little thrusters. Then when we come here, we can open that out and open that out, and I would open it out all the way for now because we can put them down later. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pegs. Those 4 pegs will go used when we get to the vehicle mode, and it will go down, and then we'll fold these pieces down. It could also serve as a shield because of this peg. I mean, he could hold it as a shield, or it could even serve as like a medical bay bed if you're so inclined. I dig it. I really do. I think it's all right. It's not nearly as obtrusive as I thought it was going to be. What about Ratchet himself? Well, with a 9.5, the transformation should be fairly easy. I will note that whenever I see this guy, I've seen this like out a lot farther, like almost out like that. It doesn't need to be. Like it does peg in, so it can go in pretty close to his chest. I like that. The Autobot symbol that I talked about, possibly adding, maybe I can add it on this hinge down here. I need to, maybe down there. It might be a bit rough. If you know the transformation of the Siege, then you're basically going to know the transformation of this. I'm going to bring this forward. I'm going to do this really quick because we've seen it before. The head goes in. The bumper piece comes down. This closes in over the head. The arm sections come up over the head, and we rotate them. And when we rotate them, we'll have a little peg. Oh, can't see it. Little peg that will go into a hole on that side of the arm. There, like that. We can just kind of like bring that up over for now and sort of leave it. Then straighten out these legs. Then this whole section rotates around really, really easy. I mean, you might even call it loose, but really easy. Easier than the Siege, I find, to be honest with you. Then we can come here and open out a leg flap, and should be able to, there you go, open out a leg flap, and open out a leg. The legs will, of course, tab together. The leg flaps on the sides, they will come up and tab in, and come up and tab in. On Ratchet here, at least, they tab in super good. We're going to bring the arms here down inside, and we're going to flip this piece up and this piece up, and they also tab together. And this, I guess put that up, like that. This is basically what we have for Siege Ratchet. However, this time around, we actually do use the 1, 2, 3, 4 peg holes, and we use those pegs that I mentioned earlier, and we should be able to peg all of this on. That piece is up. Peg in. What is it that's not lining up? There we go. And then we bring this down on the side, and then this down on the side, and this down, and we bring this in to go pegged in there. And that's done, and boom, we have Ratchet in his vehicle mode. I do need to solidify a couple things like the windshield here, but this is basically it. It's a great transformation. He was getting a 9.5. I'm going to say the transformation is a 9.5. Overall, Ratchet's a 9.5, man. And so here we have both of the Ratchets with each other. Again, this is like with the Arcee. Sort of pick your poison. Which alt mode do you prefer? Do you like the stylized Cybertronian look? The G11 now, admittedly, in vehicle mode, while the silhouette is good, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna pretend that going down the side, where you have the molded in windows, but not that painted detail, isn't rough. That being said, if you did paint that detail, then in the robot mode, you'd have too much detail on top of the white. I would prefer it like this than to have the legs really inaccurate in the robot mode. I can accept this as a about as close of an approximation to an Earth mode as we're gonna get in the main line. I think I prefer it. I think Starscream White prefers the Earth mode. I do like the pop of white on the Earth one a little bit better. Before you ask if the top of the Earthrise can go on the Siege, no, it can't. This is what happens. Why? This is why. The Earthrise has a space here that allows this peg to basically fit down in there. The Siege one does not have that. Even if it did, the whites are a mismatch. I suppose you could work to remove or cut off that peg and then it should work fine, but I don't think that the kind of top of the windshield section would fit in. You can see that this one is angled. In the end, with our Paradon Medic being an 8.75 and Ratchet being a 9.5, the overall score here for the set is about a 9.25. Both are quite good. This is overall quite an excellent set. Plus, it gives us a chance to add a Paradon Medic. And you know what? Who doesn't like when we get an opportunity to add a new character? And here we are, and here they are. Okay, so the Paradon Medic, Lifeline. I know throughout the entire review I called her Paradon Medic. I did forget to turn out those tabs going to vehicle mode. It's an easy tab, or I guess panel, to forget to fold out. I forget it all the time. She still transforms fine without it, but yeah, you're supposed to fold that out. What do you want? The articulation is good. The silhouette is pretty good. The articulation at the waist is very nice. I don't know, it has its strengths and its drawbacks for sure. It's definitely not bad. Huge backpack, but the huge heels sort of offset that. I like both. I like the generations and I like this. I'm not sure yet, still kind of contemplating and debating, but I may have the Earthrise be my Lifeline and I may have the generations be my Arcee. It's kind of what I'm considering, thinking about, maybe, I don't know, we'll see for sure. And then we get to Ratchet. Now, the kind of back sled thing is way less obtrusive than I thought it was going to be. The articulation is still pretty unhindered, and truth is, especially for stop motion, at times it may even help to be a third stabilizing leg, especially in like action poses. So it's probably going to help me, to be honest with you. A couple of things here I still need to do custom-wise with the guy. I do want him to have red hands. I do want him to have the crosses on his shoulders. I do want to see if I can put a little Autobot symbol down here. Now the QC issue. The QC issue involves basically, and I guess I should kind of open this up because I didn't talk about it in the review. I'm going to talk about it now. Involves the arms having to, I guess take this off too and get this out of the way. The arms having to fold up over. So the arms are on a piece of plastic that's able to fold into a slot that's in right here. However, I've heard instances of the Ironhide's section here being double the width. It's too thick, so when you go to bring the arm up for transformation or for articulation, this hinge in here won't be able to go up. If it moves at all, it'll only go up about that far. You can cut it off. However, there's a pin in here for the whole arm assembly, so be very careful because you're cutting some plastic sort of around a pin area. I hope you never experience that QC issue. I hope I don't experience that QC issue, to be honest with you. If I do, of course, I will deal with it. But yeah, look at your Ironhide, look at your Ratchet. The shoulder, especially on the left side, which is why I'm looking at this one, it is prone to having that defect. I hope that it's not widespread, but I have heard of it. Put that in. I have heard of it now a couple of times. Assuming you don't have that QC issue, honestly, this is pretty fantastic. It's a great Earth mode Ratchet. Yeah, okay, when you look at the sled piece and you have it opened out like this and opened out like this, okay, that's clear, that's clear. What goes in here is his shoulder, and then what goes down the side is his leg. And while the molded detail is there, it's obviously not colored in. If it was colored in, then when we're looking at the legs here, the white legs would have, you know, say blue or something right here and down here. I'd rather it not be colored because do you remember the classics, Ironhide and Ratchet, and how everyone didn't like that they were colored in and how panelly it looked, along with some clear translucent windows. So I think it was smart for them to mold it in, but just leave it. I don't even think they needed to mold it in. Honestly, you probably could have just left it and I think people would have been happy. As for the shoulder piece here, it's okay here. A little more obtrusive on Ironhide, I think. 9.25 for the set. Well worth it. If you can see your way to get this trip into the Galactic Odyssey, do it. It is well worth it. Let me know what you think about this duo. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, don't forget there's a donate link that you can use. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us, man. We do a lot of things around here. Don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single day, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here, inside the videos.